Hola, folks. Welcome to the Tech Geek Podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. I am your host, Sukriti Adevanshi, and today's episode is all about the current and future hiring tech trends. So, recruiting during and the post pandemic world is shaped by the challenges, solutions, and lessons learned during those times. But the transformation is not complete yet. The hiring and the recruiting sector has been making the tech driven changes necessary to maintain business as usual. However, we will see this trend expand as companies find new ways to implement hybrid work culture. And to deep dive into these trends, I am in conversation with Satish Patil, founder and CEO of Mitibase Technologies Private Limited. Welcome to the show, Satish. We're so delighted to have you.
Thank you, Sukriti. Thanks for having me here. I'm really excited to, share my thoughts and have a very lively conversation with you today.
Thanks, Satish. And I am also looking forward to some amazing insights that you're going to share with us while I ask the questions that we have for you. So let's just quickly begin. To start with, help us understand: will recruiters hire less and build and borrow more with the technology enablement, in the coming time?
Yeah, see, if you look at since last couple of years with the COVID and the remote work, there is no longer only nice to have internal mobility, right? So typically companies really now looking for rescaling is one of the key agenda, right? So they are looking to work with their L&D departments, look at what they need right now, and rather than hiring from outside, they are looking to build those skills inside, right? And I don't see that trend going away soon because of this current really needs from our customers, partners. Lot of very very challenging and flexible needs, especially in the talent pool and the talent crunch, the way the market is behaving. I feel the next gen recruiters, with the help of technology, they would really wanted to hire less and build and borrow more. When I say build internally with the rescaling approach. And when I say borrow, because a lot of opportunities and the requirements are very short term. And in the today's world, the recruiters are smartly addressing that by just borrowing those, on demand, the talent which is just required for a short period of time. So I feel this internal mobility and the rescaling, right? But looking at the stage we are and looking at the current market scenario, that is going to stay for quite a bit of time.
All right. So is tech-driven virtual recruiting here to stay, and for how long do you think? Because the era is changing. We see the pattern of hybrid work culture now. But what do you think about the recruitment trends?
Recruitment in the sense the virtual or
Satish, we are talking about the tech-driven virtual, recruitment process. How do you think, how long it's
sure.
here to stay?
Yeah, I think it's again just like your first question. The companies have really dabbled into this video interviewing, remote assessment, right? Using various platforms, right? And because they have now ability to really source a talent which was not possible with the traditional recruiting method, with this tech-driven virtual recruitment is a very for them it's an advantage, and not only advantage for some of them, is a competitive advantage, right? The one important advantage, what we see when we talk to a lot of companies and with my own personal experience, is that with this remote and the virtual hiring, you have ability to get more cross departmental team also as a part of a hiring process. In the earlier era, it used to take a lot of time, right? Where you really wanted to get candidate interviewed or assessed by different departments. But with the virtual tech driven process, now not only I'm able to do a lot of sourcing assessment faster, but also I have ability to rope in lot of external as well as the interdepartment folks also, during that process. So that is number one. Number two, another advantage is the sheer cost, right? Because now I can do the virtual, the candidate can be anywhere in the world. I don't have to pay for, the travel, they save time, we save time, we in the sense the company save time, right? So that's a win-win for both of them. And as I mentioned in the beginning also, because of this virtual and the remote interviewing, I'm able to source a pool which was really not accessible to me before, right? And the last and not the least is here, companies have ability to really give that wow and the really quality experience as a recruitment and a hiring experience, which also adds to a lot of their the brand value, right? So when they go out and the candidate speaks quite a bit of good about them, right? When they look at this experience. So I strongly feel this trend is going to stay for quite a bit of time. Albeit it's not for everyone. Some people may go back to the original recruitment method, but by and large, the virtual and the remote recruitment is going to stay.
Okay. And do you think will recruiters build new skills to align with the businesses? Because as we speak, the entire pandemic has changed the business approach for all the organizations. And looking at the tech skills specifically, what new tech skills are needed, and how do you think organizations are driving it, along with aligning to the new business values?
Well, that's a very interesting question, Sukriti. So one thing we need to realize, because of this COVID and the remote work and the hybrid work model, the recruiters are at a very, very strategic position, right? So they have to do two things. One, they have to deal with the hiring needs, right? At the same time, they also look for the on the candidate side, and the third is they also look at of their own personal development. So they are sit into position where they are catering to candidates, they're catering to the company, and they also have to make sure that they give justice to their role, right? Now with these new things, and also addition to that point is, because they themselves are also working from home, right? Or working remotely, so their location matters, right? The team which they interact matters a lot, right? So because of all this complexity, they really now upskilling themselves, as they are asking their company or the talent pool to reskill. They also is looking to upskill and reskill themselves, right? So one is and which areas typically they look to scale themselves is, one is definitely diversity and inclusion. Now, believe me or not, the diversity and inclusion, people are companies are really looking at this area seriously, right? And so recruiters also wanted to make themselves tune or accustomed to this diversity and inclusion, right? Second, they are also skilling themselves. Can I make the decision making faster, right? Because they want to assess the candidate, virtually, remotely, not physically, right? So the decision making is one. Second is the HR strategy, right? The recruiters are no more only people who are just calling the candidates and setting up the interviews. These people are also looking more of a HR functions, right? So they also look for more on the psychology part, the candidate, the behavior, and so other aspects of the HR domain, right? So as I say, so diversity and inclusion, decision making process, HR strategies, empathy, the soft skills, how do you make sure that you give that human touch during all those virtual process. So these are the skills currently I believe these recruiters would love to have them to really cater to these new demands of hiring and recruitment. And on top of that, they have to make sure that they give justice to the organization which they are catering to. So they also have to make sure they align, so their alignment to the company is in sync with those skills.
I see. So, Satish, we spoke of the, of course, tech skills, but these tech skills are for the latest technologies that are in the market, and already creating a buzz. So, if I may ask, will recruiters implement more technology systems like AI, analytics, AR, VR, and RPA in the hiring process? Because these technologies are something that are being adapted and used, I should say, in almost all fortes that we see in the businesses today.
Absolutely, Sukriti, completely agree with you on that front. And Yes, in today's recruiting world, the use of technology is no more, an option. It is a need, right? One is you can't have this virtual recruitment without having a very solid tech stack, under your belt. And there's a different flavors to that tech stack. So we call it as a, sort of a recruitment tech stack, right? For the next gen hiring, or the new hiring or the new normal hiring. So one is definitely analytics. So analytics, or the you say the intelligent hiring, or the artificial intelligence, machine learning. So that tells you how can I reduce the timing to time to hire. Can I source intelligent or more pools better, right? Second is, can I predict who's going to join? In today's, joining is the key challenge. People, for every offer or every person join, on an average, people are giving 10 offers, 20 offers, 5 offers, depending upon, but there are multiple offers I have to give before someone really joins, right? For a particular position. So today, the really need of the hours is, can I predict, right? Who's going to join? And even better, can I really source those only candidates where the probability or the likelihood of joining is more, right? But how do I get that unless I have a very intelligent processes and system in place, right? Where the technology like artificial intelligence, machine learning, analytics can really tell me who can, there are tools which can go over your resumes, right? Your skill sets, your location, your age, your education qualification, your work experience, your recommendations, and they come up with a different scoring logics, right? Whether he's going to join or not, whether he's going to leave early or not, whether he's the right fit or not. So all sort of this, the scoring and the categorization and the bucketization is happening with those tools. So this intelligence is required. That is one tech stack. The second is RPA, as you mentioned. So RPA is where a lot of recruiters, and the hiring managers want to get rid of these repetitive tasks, right? And there are a lot of tools, technologies, processes where these tools can, really accelerate and increase the productivity of recruiters, because they are just taking off these repetitive works, right? So that is another aspect where, from the productivity perspective, these RPA tools helps. And the third, which are the next gen technology tools, are the AR VR, right? Where you really give a flavor to the candidates what it could like, to see our company, to see the office, to see where we sit, where our colleagues are, So because it's a virtual recruitment, and with the corona during the COVID period where people were not traveling, a lot of companies adopted this AR VR, the tools and the technologies where they can give the real feel, how, what it means to work for a company, right? So I just gave you a 3-4 examples, right? Like, AI, ML, analytics, RP is one of them. And currently people are experimenting with this, the AR, VR and the metaverse kind of a technology, where candidate get the feel of a workplace, not even being, physically present there. So I feel, and again, this tech stack will keep growing, depending upon the need of the hour. But again, as I said, this is no more a option or a choice. It's a need of hour.
Absolutely, Satish. I agree with you. Moving on to the next and the last one. Will employee well-being and mental health checks be necessary for recruitment and hiring? Because I think the pandemic has brought us into that space wherein employee well-being is one of the most considered factors after what each one of us had gone through. Right, a lot of dynamics in terms of emotions and our psyche changed, and while we were
Mhm.
trying to pull in a balance between our professional and personal life, I think this has brought the mental health especially has been brought to the limelight. So do you think this is a critical part when it comes to the entire recruitment and hiring process?
Absolutely, right. So if I go back to the question, what you asked, what are the new skills, the recruiters require? So one of the word I mentioned is empathy, right? So today, because people have been working for more than 2 years, remotely, right? Where they don't have, the colleague to colleague interaction, human interaction, right? The interpersonal, the interaction or the development, right? So with this last 2 years working remotely alone, right? People always have a fatigue, burnout, right? The sense of feeling, working lonely. You don't have that camaraderie or the sportsmanship you have with your colleagues, right? Not being that, people go through a lot of mental stress, right? And the today's, if you look at, if you talk to people say, hey, working from home, but they typically tend to work more, right? And that's that, you get that feeling from everywhere, from everyone, right? Because we are working from home, we try or tend to work more. And because of this extended hour, late night calls or call at any time, people go through that, mental stress, burnout, fatigue, right? So now this has a lot of impact in attrition, job hopping, shifting the job quickly, because of the burnout. Even if I like the company and work, I want to take a break, right? People are going on sabbatical, and the entire big story of the great resignation, right? Now with this, today's recruiters are looking at how do they address this as one of their key parameters, as a evaluation process during the interview, right? So they not only have to be empathetic to the candidate, but at the same time, this is a site, kind of a lever they use, right? That our company take care of your mental health, right? Or we don't, take a call after 9 p.m., right? Or we have a specific counseling sessions periodically, for you guys, or we have a monthly or a quarterly, meetings, or some kind of a speakers, motivational speakers, or some kind of a, the consultant who talked about how to deal with stress. So as a consultant, as a recruiter, I am giving them a lot of opportunities, that what is that our company can do for you, right? So that you will be more productive, you'll be more happy, right? And if you have any issues, or concerns about, working remotely, then you have at least a process, a system, or someone who can talk to. So that's, that's what the trend is. Lot of recruiters use this as one of their differentiator. So because we do this, we have, on demand counselors, we have, a specific hour shift, or we don't allow any calls after 9 p.m. All these kind of offerings they provide, or they offer to the potential candidate as a differentiator. Not only as a differentiator, but as I said, everyone knows, how it is critical, so that our joining candidate, or not only the joining candidate, even the internal employees can really leverage these avenues, so that they remain mentally fit, right? And more productive, more happy for any company.
All right, Satish, thank you so much. I think the entire information that you've given us is of of so much relevance and use for our audience as well. And we look forward to our audience utilizing each one of them. So thank you so much for being here with us for this conversation.
Thanks, Sukriti. Thank you very much for having me. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much once again, audience. It's a wrap, and thank you so much for listening. Stay tuned to TechGeek for all the latest tech updates and happenings. This is your host signing off.